For a week in mid-May 2016, the only connection Chris Ikonomidis could have with his family on the other side of the fence was through a phone. His parents had just arrived to the Italian Mediterranean coastal city of Salerno from Sydney for a 2-week trip to visit their son, who was playing on loan from Lazio for Serie B club Salernitana. But for the first half of their trip, they had no more contact with him than if they had stayed at home. The Australian international was confined to the club's training ground for a week, along with the rest of his teammates, as punishment for a 3-0 loss away to Cagliari the weekend prior to his parents' arrival. Chris Ikonomidis at Lazio photo, supplied after their arrival back at the ground. After the game, the gaze were locked on the players. They were put through more training sessions, would eat every meal in the mess halls inside the complex and sleep in the small adjacent dormitories. They couldn't leave the ground until their next game on the weekend, and not even families visiting from the other side of the world were allowed inside. My parents came to visit me. We lost to Cagliari and, yep, you guessed it, we had to stay in Retiro-the camp for 1 week. I missed half my parents' trip because I was in that camp. It was very hard at the time, but we laugh about it now. It's ridiculous, he said. The harsh punishment hurt the 21-year-old Ikonomidis, but Salernitana couldn't care less. They bounced back to beat Como 1-0 on the final day of the season to avoid relegation. In Italy, the practice is widespread and something the Australian international experienced regularly. It's a different pace there. Football is a religion and they take everything personally. I was playing in a game with Lazio and they wouldn't let us leave the training ground until the next game. If we won, then we could go home, Ikonomidis said. As soon as he was elevated from Lazio's youth team to the Serie A squad, Ikonomidis faced the harsh demands of Italian football and the heavy-handed responses that came with failure. We went to Diego Verona. I had just been upgraded to the first team under former Lazio coach Stefano Pioli. We were down 3-0 at halftime and we lost the game 4-0. We had to sneak into the back entrance to the training ground because there was about 5,000 fans waiting out the front. We had to sleep there until the next game we won. We had angry fans wanting answers for what happened. We had to go through the back door and stay there for the next week. They had rooms and a restaurant in the training ground. We would stay, eat, sleep and train. That's it, Ikonomidis said. Mostly it was punishment. It happened 3 or 4 times. It was one side of the cutthroat and dramatic nature of Italian football. However, the young Australian winger grew to accept the volatility of the Serie A, to which he hopes to return after his loan spell with Western Sydney Wanderers. When you win a game, the fans take you on top of the moon. There's hundreds of fans outside of the game asking for photos, cheering, singing songs just in training sessions, Ikonomidis. However, there's a sense Ikonomidis is already feeling more comfortable back in Sydney. Speaking barely 12 hours after his arrival in Australia, the 6-time Socceroo is already sensing a relief from pressure in being back with his family, even if the Wanderers fans' frustration with results has been simmering to the surface. It's good being back with him, he said. Personally, for me, if we have a home game here in Sydney, we sleep in our beds at home and we meet for the game. Offers to go elsewhere in Europe on loan and also to Serie B were on the table for Ikonomidis, but his relationship with Wanderers boss Josep Gumau and the promise of regular game time in a less hostile environment convinced him to return for the first time in 6 years. I had a good relationship with him and I worked with him at the Socceroos and the Alaires, he said. We stayed in close contact. He's always given me advice and tried to help me with my football career. It felt like the right thing to do. He was looking at me for a while and he said my characteristics suit his playing style.